Nikolay Andrushchenko. Nikolay Andrushchenko, September 10, 1943, April 19, 2017, a Russian journalist for the Novy Peterburg newspaper in Street Petersburg, Russia, died at the Mariinsky Hospital after being beaten. He was a well-known critic and part of the opposition to Vladimir Putin in Russia. Andruschenko was part of a critical documentary about Putin called Who's Mister Putin that linked President Putin with the organized crime, which is banned in Russia. Personam. Nikolay Andrushchenko was born in 1943 in the city of Leninogorsk in Kazakhstan. He earned a doctorate in mathematics and physics at the St. Petersburg State University. In the early 1990s, he started his political career in the Street Petersburg City Council, which lasted for 3 years. He lived in Street Petersburg for a long time. He leaves a wife and 2 children, a son and a daughter. Career. Nikolay Andrushchenko started his political career in the early 1990s. He became a member of the Street Petersburg City Council. Because of what he experienced during the end of the Soviet Union, he wanted to change Russia, especially by investigating the corruption in his country. He is the co-founder of the newspaper Novy Peterburg, for which he wrote until his death in 2017. In 2007, Novy Petersburg was shut down after 2 official warnings because of 2 articles that were published. One article from Andruschenko and another one by Konstantin Chernev. Novy Peterburg went to court, and in 2009 they won their case and could publish again. He was attacked twice in the months before he died because of some documents that could have been related to investigations he was working on. He was famous for his articles about human rights and his critic against the Russian President Vladimir Putin. He gave several interviews about his contacts with Putin in the 1990s when Andruschenko was working as a lawmaker and Putin was working for the mayor Anatoly Sobchak. Andruschenko said that the center of Putin's politics had always been money and nothing else. Controversies. In 2007, he was charged with libel, extremism, and insult by Yunis Lutmanov, the chairman of the housing committee of the city. He was found guilty by a Russian court and had to pay a fine. After that, Andruschenko decided to renounce his Russian citizenship. 2 years later, in 2009, he was charged with insult of Dmitry Mazurov, a member of the Russian prosecutor. He was found guilty and had to pay 20.0 Russian ruble, but the prosecutors dropped the cases of libel and extremism. The original charges were based on articles about opposition's protest and about a trial of 4 men that had been convicted of murdering a student. Nikolay Andruschenko was on his way to a business meeting March 9, 2017, when a group of unknown people beat him until he lost consciousness. Several hours later, he was found near his house with head trauma. He was rushed to the Mariinsky Hospital, where doctors tried to save his life with brain surgery, but left him in a medically induced coma. Although he started breathing on his own again, he died on April 19, 2017. Denis Yuzarov, editor of the Novy Peterburg, believed that the attack was linked to Andruschenko's articles about corruption in Street Petersburg. The attack was investigated by the 78th Police Department in the Central District of Street Petersburg, but according to Alevtina Ejeva, director of Novy Peterburg, the police are unlikely to put much effort into the investigation, since Andruschenko wrote a lot about the arbitrariness in the police, and he was not liked for his intransigence. The attackers are still unknown. Context. Andruschenko is the 7th journalist to die in Putin's second presidency. The day after Andruschenko was assaulted, another journalist was attacked. 35-year-old Yevgeny Komaganov died on March 17 because of his injuries. All the killed journalists wrote about and investigated cases of corruption on a local or national level. Impact. Nikolay Andruschenko invested several cases of corruption after the end of the Soviet Union. He was known as a Vladimir Putin critic and for his articles about human rights and police misuse of authority.